I want to start by thanking everyone who has participated in the week-long celebration of Abington College. Our students, faculty, our staff showcased their work in programs ranging from the arts to engineering. Inspiring. On Tuesday, we participated in a day of service. Yes, I helped make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That was true to the Abington tradition. Staff members and administrators from across the college worked behind the scenes to make all of this happen. Thank you. Thank you to the organizing committee. And special thank you to my two predecessors who are here today, Bob and Karen. Thank you for your stewardship. And Karen, a special nod to you. We share values beyond what we would ever have imagined. And we also share a Cuban story that she will tell you sometime. A special gratitude to my boss, Dr. Madeline Haynes, not only for her kind words and her partnership in support of Abington College, but for leading with conviction. Conviction that we are here to serve. Madeline, I remember what you said to me when you took me out to lunch in New York City, just before my appointment was going to become public. She looked at me and smiled in that vintage Madeline Haynes smile and said, "I've invested a lot of time in you." In fact, she turned over every rock and found every speck of dust. I hope, Madeline, your investment will pay off. Thank you for the opportunity to work with you and alongside the Penn State Abington community. And my appreciation to my colleagues, friends, and family who traveled here from Florida and Washington, D.C., and New York and Purchase. I am sure that they, knowing me well, are expecting words of wisdom or wit, and certainly a reference or two to Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift. You are out of luck. Not today. I'm impressed that after all these years, 14 or 15 years, Francis still recalls Homi Bhabha and the first reading I assigned in the graduate class in comparative area politics, nation and narration. Indeed, we are all the stories we tell. Stories we tell about ourselves and the stories others tell about us. I'm going to tell you a story. It is the story of Penn State Abington. It is our collective story. It is my story too, because beyond specific time and place, this narration is of our nation. And as such, it is not contained by historical facts. It is above all a story of an ideal. Ours is an American story. Although I'm the one narrating it, I'm not its author. Many before me have contributed to it. During the past several months, I've spent time meeting with students, faculty, staff, and administrators here and around Penn State. Much of what I'm about to say expresses what I've heard. And there's one common theme. That education carries the possibility to unlock potential, transforming individuals and communities. As old-fashioned as it is, we, all of us here, hold on fast to the belief that education makes the world a better place. Because the education that we pursue here carries a purpose beyond the self. One of my earliest memories, I must have been 4 years old, was going with my mother to the rural school on the western tip of the island of Cuba, where she taught. A one-room schoolhouse, the color of driftwood, with small windows, not far from tobacco fields. An unpaved road led to it. I visited only once, but the memory is etched in my mind. For as I entered, the dim light inside illuminated everything with a warm glow. At that moment, I realized that schools are privileged spaces, as sacred as secular gets, promising something good. Perhaps the rolling hills, the filtered light slanting through the trees, made me recall that experience when I first visited Abington College on a Saturday. Before my interview, I came stealth mission to look at the place. The campus was quiet, but it was magnetic, beckoning me. Abington is a place that draws you in. The campus pulls you to its center of gravity with the promise of something beautiful, deep and meaningful, bigger than us, like a convocation, a calling to a vocation, a gathering for a higher purpose. Although I was half a century older and I had traveled thousands of miles from the tip of Cuba, Abington reminded me of what I experienced in that one-room schoolhouse many years before. The promise of transformation, the possibility of wonder, something good. My mother's rural schoolhouse was the first school I loved, but not the last. My love for schools was nurtured at a small Mennonite academy that I attended until 10th grade, where I learned that community matters. And later at a Jesuit high school, where I admitted, a shy nerd, was asked to assume a leadership position in service to others. That experience transformed me and opened doors that I thought would never be available. Two of my teachers from Academia Menonita are here today, Mr. and Mrs. Martin. And I know that Charlie Byrne, the principal of San Ignacio, who would see me and say, "How are you surviving? Because I came from your school." And a lifelong mentor is here in spirit with my dad. Transformation is at the heart of the Abington story, a story that begins in 1850 with the founding of the Ogon School for Young Ladies. From its founding in a 4-story row house on Chester Street to its relocation to the Elkins Park estate of Civil War financier J. Cook, to its final location on these grounds, the Ogon School educated girls from Philadelphia's affluent families for 100 years. One of our distinguished students, as many of you know, was Amelia Earhart. Like Amelia, thousands of our graduates are trailblazers. We are proud of that tradition of exploration. We embrace it today as we recognize that the place has changed significantly since Amelia was here. Abington, like all great institutions, must be of their times, keeping pace with the changes in our country, shedding light on the future of the nation we are becoming and aspiring to become and narrating. No longer a place of privilege, Penn State Abington is committed to educate everyone, affluent and not. The same way that Ogons educated women. Today, Abington is the most diverse college of one of the nation's great universities. We are becoming a majority-minority institution, positioned to serve as a model for urban public institutions of higher education across the nation. As I have thought about Abington, as I have read about Abington during these past months, I've come to realize that we're not only a narration, we're not only a story. At its core, Penn State Abington is a metaphor. It's a living symbol for the power of education. Let me tell you how. Penn State Abington is at the edge. We stand at the eastern edge of Penn State, part of an institution dedicated to access, affordability, and excellence. We are the place where the city and the suburbs meet. Located in a rather rich first-ring suburb of one of the nation's dynamic metropolitan regions, we combine the resources of a large, globally recognized institution with the environment of a small liberal arts college that serves thousands of underserved. We are a frontier of sorts, not only in geography, but in spirit. We embrace our position on the border, both geographically and figuratively, because it is at the edges, on the border, where newness is created, dynamics are generated, fresh understanding is made possible. At the edge, we encourage experimentation, innovation, risk-taking. At the edge, we negotiate the real with the ideal, what is and what should be. Here, the liberal arts, the sciences, and professional programs converge and cross-fertilize. We are at the cutting edge of interdisciplinary collaborations. We embrace being on the edge. In the current national and international context of polarization and fragmentation, being at the edge is a privilege, but it carries responsibility. We are a place that strives to bring people together to understand our differences as well as our similarities. We strive to be a place of encounter, where contending perspectives find common ground, or at least respect. We are a hub of engagement that celebrates intercultural understanding and redefines traditional boundaries. We are at the crossroads of race, ethnicity, gender, class, and generation. The edge provides the necessary space for transformational learning. We are here at the edge, and sometimes that means that we are edgy as well. Our students are the face of our nation. We are a community that's opening doors of opportunity to first-generation college students, minorities, immigrants, international students, and adult learners. Walk around this campus and you will see our country reflected in it, in all its beautiful shades. It is a compelling experience because it represents a moral imperative, a new moral order. Last fall, 40% of our students identified as minorities and 4% were international. Approximately 1/3 of our students are from households at or below 150% of the poverty line. 53% are female, 25% adult learners. About half of our students are first generation in their families to attend college. What they teach us is that it is not lack of talent, but lack of opportunity that too often determines one's life chances. Our responsibility is to ensure that all Abington students have access to opportunities for success. A commitment, like Madeline said, rooted in Penn State's history as a land-grant institution. Inclusion is the promise of a land-grant institution, the promise of Penn State. We will not waver in our commitment on that promise. As the cost of higher education continues to escalate across the nation, Abington College is distinguished by our ability to provide students with a low-cost degree with a high-impact education. We combine value with values. Our tradition of inclusion, what President Barron is labeling "We Are All In," is expressed both in and outside the classroom. This commitment to bringing people together translates into community engagement, service learning, and the formation of ethical leaders who will transform this region, the nation, and the world. While we acknowledge our past and celebrate our present, we are about the future. For us, the future is now. We are the harbingers of public higher education today. We are proud of our track record of success, but we want to be and do better, and we will. Improving retention and graduation for all students is one of our top priorities. At Penn State Abington, we aspire to greatness. We aspire to a greater Abington, and we are on our way. With a residence hall, improved academic spaces, scaffolding for student success in and outside the classroom, integration of academic and student affairs, new degree programs, inspired teaching, interdisciplinary initiatives, important contributions to scholarship and creative work, committed student athletes, opportunities for transformational leadership in a global transcultural campus at the edge. Penn State Abington is indeed a metaphor for American values and the expanding frontier of inclusion and excellence. It is a metaphor for our nation's belief in limitless possibilities, the value of hard work, the importance of grit and determination to succeed. Working together, we're motivated to create the greater Penn State Abington, a college hallmarked by excellence and student success, with a faculty engaged in high-impact teaching and scholarship, and a community unafraid to have necessary, if difficult, conversations for the common good. And that is why the Abington story and the metaphor at its core matters. Because the future of the nation is being defined and redefined in places like Abington. We are forging the new America. Our nation's future, its success or failure, hinges on getting public education right, ensuring that students realize their potential so they can live our values, advance our communities, and deliver on the American promise for all. Thank you.